Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Eco Solutions right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful repeat guest is Norma Burnson. She's written quite a number of books on the sustainability of our planet, of food, sustainable food for the globe, sustainable food for the globe, an additional one, sustainable food for the globe, 1 square foot at a time. But she's had her challenges in life. She's a U.S. Navy veteran, which she joined after her 18th birthday. It led her to meeting the love of her life, and they've been together for 15 years. She's been all over the
50.
world. 50 years, yes, 50 years, right? Yeah, I know, such a big number. Congratulations. And she's traveled around a great deal, but she also has some health issues that kind of have bedbound her, that cause enormous amount of challenges, but she decided not to let those challenges get in the way. She wanted to do something, and what she has done is been an advocate for our eco solution, and also to be there for the International Women's Leadership Association, and to be there for sustainable food. Richard Branson was so impressed with her, he invited her to join a panel that he was doing, and it's because she's out there making a difference despite her obstacles and challenges in the way. And so we're going to be talking about that today, of what we can do, what we're empowered to do, for the sustainable food for the globe, but to sustainability on so many levels. Here in Canada, we've just lost half of our treasured place, Jasper, where half of our wonderful forests have gone, half of Jasper is gone. We lost another town last year. California is yet going through more fires, and then other areas of this country you have flooding. And so global warming is here, and we have to pay attention to it. There's no if, and buts. In fact, we're about 20 years behind paying attention to it. But food is one of those things that is going to be in shortage if we do not pay attention. So how do we sustain our food market? How do we stop bastardizing it with GMO and everything else? How do we have healthy food that can keep our health healthy and help us along the way? And as I said, it doesn't matter what obstacles or challenge you may be facing in your life, because she's certainly faced them. Heart problems, asthma, number of other things that you have there that you're facing. And yet, as I said, you decided you wanted to step up and be a part of something. And here you are now, 3 books in, really out there making a difference and showing the world we are the change we seek. Right, Norma?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So you have any questions for me right away?
No, this is conversational, so it's not really question answer period. We know how to have a conversation.
Okay.
I'm going to hit off with a little hope button right now. Is that change is desperately needed. And what we've been seeing now for a tide for a while now is this pushback to pushing everything back to the 50s. Climate change is a hoax. Women belong barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. Turning people back, sending them back to their countries, even if they were born in a country. All of that. And then along came Kamala Harris.
Oh,
And
yes.
and now what we're seeing is a tidal wave of common sense, of somebody
Yes.
who's, knows how to roll up her sleeve, pay attention to the details, and know what to do with those naughty boys that are misbehaving. And it's like
Yes.
it's changed the tide completely, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. By the way, what I like about her, Kamala Harris, future president of the United States,
Yes,
is
yes,
that she sees a problem and
yes.
finds a solution.
Mm,
She doesn't sit here by herself.
mhm,
She gets advice from anybody and everybody that is an expert in that material, in addition to people that are civilians. And she
mm,
goes to all these rallies, but she really goes to places that she feels make a difference. For example, she went to a sorority. It was an all-black sorority of women. There were 44,000. That's what they said. But then the new numbers came down to 100,000 women.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about this group is that the women are college, well educated, in
Yeah.
positions of power. And they, they're not going, wait, we're so sorry, we're going to be defeated.
Yeah.
No, what do we do? And in that meeting that was less than an hour, those women brought in $1.8 million.
Yes.
Never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern, and it's interesting that you bring it up. I was born in Puerto Rico, and it's very machismo. And when I was about 5 or 6 years old, my aunt was very worried about me, and she took me to the doctor, a psychiatrist nonetheless. And so the psychiatrist told my aunt, please leave the room, leave me alone. So after about half an hour or so, he calls my aunt back in and he says, leave this child alone. She has an extremely high IQ, a brilliant mind as a genius. And after that, all hell broke.
Oh
Because
gosh.
then everybody was like, she's got to have 105. And that, I think, was the first time that I felt, no,
Mm.
I'm not going to fall for what you say. I am very mathematical, very strategic, analytical, to the point that I was going to take a course in math. And my husband goes, you could write the book. So that was fun. But yes, and I think that the solutions for everything is out there. Unfortunately, people are scared. And
Yes.
when you're scared, you don't think. And the thing is, just go to Google and put in the words climate change or put
Mm-hmm.
in the word food production. Just put the word that you are interested in, and you will find millions and millions and millions of organizations. Now, the other thing that people are afraid of is because they don't have knowledge of who's actually out there seeing the problem and finding a solution.
Yeah.
And for example, I started publishing the Sustainable Food for the Globe iNews. I had no idea what to do. I studied and studied and checked other people and then started publication. And you saw the last publication I had with
Mm-hmm.
Nadine and Jemiah, Eva, and Saki from Pakistan. Well, the thing about that magazine that is so important to me is Jemiah. If you remember seeing that, Jemiah Hargens has an organization in California called Crop Swap. And what he has done is he's gone up and down the neighborhood, set up self-sustaining gardens and
Mm.
grow food. And I don't know if you remember the picture that he had people standing around with buckets and buckets and
Mm-hmm.
buckets of oranges. And they had a party, and I mean, it was just like free. Just take what you want, no charging. If
Yes.
you're a friend, and you want to donate, that's fine. But can you imagine these people that were in a food desert, which is going to be my next magazine next
Mm.
year, when these people were living in a food desert, and now there's so much abundance they take it into a van and go further out of their territory.
Mm-hmm.
So as I told you before, for every problem on this planet,
Yes.
there is a solution. And unfortunately, all these very high-powered companies and all that, if they see something that's going to hurt their bottom line,
Exactly.
forget it. You're never
Mm.
going to learn about it. My advice is find the people either on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I mean, at church, anybody who's doing what you want to do, talk to them, interview them, have them. To me, the best thing I can say is the people that have this knowledge have traveled a journey and they have all these gems that they've put into a box,
Mm-hmm.
a treasure trove. And what I say to people, don't go crazy over everything and trying to say everything. Just go to that treasure box and pull out one gem that you find is the important thing, and tell the story.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's pointing government, organizations, government to save us. Well, they're the ones that got us in the trouble. So what we
Exactly.
have to do is turn those three fingers pointing back at us and saying, no, it's our own, it's our responsibility. What are we doing about it? And we know that change only comes about from the grassroots, from the people that are willing to step up. Now, we know through COVID about shortage of food. And we know how costs have gone through the roof even now with inflation and cost and greed, and how much it costs to go down to the grocery store now. So, how about supporting your local farmer markets? Many towns have a Thursday or a Saturday or a Sunday market where people come and sell their wares. That's how I was brought up. That's how we bought our food, right?
Mhm.
You bought locally. And yes, it's wonderful to have oranges in the middle of the winter, but they've come from a different country and they were picked before they were ripe, and they may not be that great when you get them. So eat seasonally and eat the foods that are around you during that season, and get back to canning and preserving your food so that you do have it through those seasonal times. We've lost our way, and most kids think they can buy that all food grows in the supermarket. They've never been to a farm and never seen anything grow. And I think we need to kind of get back to those grassroots, and we need to come together as a community to understand the sustainability of food for tomorrow is in our hands. Because if we leave it in government hands, we're going to be starving.
Excuse me, I have a very interesting story. Well, we were living in Chicago before we came to the country in Ohio. We had the house up for sale, and this young lady, she was cute as a button. She's sitting next to me, and she sees some of my books. And she says, "Oh, you into gardening? That's wonderful. I can't because my child takes time." And I said, "My dear, if you don't start now,
Mm,
how are you going to be able to buy food when the grocery stores are closed?
yeah.
Because there's nothing there."
Hmm.
And and my story is this: go to a lawyer's office. Can he give you food? No. Go to a doctor's office. Can he give you food? No. Go to an accountant's office. Can he give you food? No. But the immigrants that pick the food from
Yes.
the farms are the ones that feed us. And the
Yes.
ones you talk about prices,
Mm,
I'll tell you why prices are so high. Because in California, Governor DeSantis decided to get rid of all the immigrants. Who are the people that pick the fruits and the vegetables and bring them to
exactly.
the market? When this thing came about in Florida, people who are regular citizens tried to help the farmers. And there was a woman, she was pretty young and in good shape, and she could only last an hour and a half. She says, "I don't know how people do this
Hmm.
because you haven't done it." But it takes stamina, it takes, consistency, persistency. And the worst part is with climate change, what's going to happen to all this food?
Yeah.
Okay, here's a situation where you have a solution to a problem. There are seeds, heirloom seeds, that have been grown to survive in heat and in cold and in rain and all kinds of climate problems. Do you think anybody knows about that?
No, not at all. They wouldn't know
Only
where
the,
to start or where to find them or what to
exactly.
do with them. Yeah.
That's why I said go to Google, find out what heirloom seeds are, and find out what the new modified seeds, they're still heirloom, that have survived these different places. And one of the things is in Alaska, they have this huge place that they have all the seeds in the world, one of every kind. And if something happens, their orders are to shut that down and not let anybody in. So if those seeds cannot be attained,
Only for the very rich and powerful, right? Not for the
exactly.
general folk. So why can't we do our own seeds? And we've not been taught. I mean, we're from a generation where, farmers market, farms were everywhere. And when we bought, even from, we didn't have kind of the big supermarkets. You'd have maybe an area where little stalls where air were all in. And we knew that it was local, well sourced. There was no such thing as organic because everything was organic. right? They didn't come out with the pesticides and everything else at that time. And we ate healthily. And I think that's, a lot of our longevity that we're seeing with baby boomers is the fact of that. And now we're seeing more cancer, more disease, more everything else because of all the additives, the preservatives, the pesticides, which now in
The
our bread,
chemicals,
mm,
the chemicals.
yeah, all the chemicals. Like in your bread, they no longer spray the wheat, it's DNA'd into the wheat now. So, yeah, our bread has absolutely no substance whatsoever. And we don't realize we're already starving because the food isn't giving us nutrients. And
Mm-hmm.
we really, in a way, have to put our Armageddon hat on. If we're
Mm-hmm.
preparing for Armageddon, whether Armageddon comes or not, that all depends of how many of us are preparing and sharing. We could prevent Armageddon by preparing for it, right?
There's a village in Switzerland that I read about a long time ago where everybody in that village has a farm. Not
Mm-hmm,
a farm, but a garden.
mm-hmm,
And they've never gone hungry.
mm-hmm.
They've never gone without. Did I ever
Exactly.
tell you about the king's stone soup?
I
Have you
think
ever
so,
heard
but
that?
please share the story. Share the story.
Well, it's very fascinating because these knights came to a town and they were starving. And when they asked the villagers, "Do you have any food?" they say, "Oh no, we don't have anything." And one of the knights looked over and saw a huge pot, and they spoke to each other quietly. And then they turned around to the villagers and said, "What about if we have the king's stone soup?" And everybody's like, "The king's stone soup?" I said, "We've got a lot of water and a lot of stones. We can do it." So everybody's like, "The king eats this?" So they put all the water and the stones and everything. So the crafty little knights in shining armor go, um, you know what would be really good, which the king really likes? Vegetables. I don't think we have any. And everybody in town ran home and brought tons and tons and tons of vegetables. And then they kept saying, "You know what's missing from this king stone's soup? We need some herbs." "Oh,
Mm,
I've got them. I've got them." By this time, everybody was happy, joyous,
mm.
and they were like starting to feel, energized, and it was becoming more and more like a festival. So the this is too funny. The knights come up and say, "You know what else is missing in this soup? I think the king likes like maybe some kind of meat. Doesn't
Mm.
matter what kind." Well, these people came with chickens and all kinds of pork and beef. They cut it up, and there it started cooking, and it smelled delicious. So one of the king's knights said, "Too bad we don't have bread or wine for this." Well, what happened? Everybody went to find their tables and chairs. The women found their tablecloths and all that stuff. And people started bringing flowers to the table and bringing bread and bringing other things, cookies and everything. And one of the ladies says, "I have flowers. Let's go get some flowers." And I mean, these are a whole village. So then they're sitting there. The musicians say, "Hey, let's come and play. This is so joyous and so wonderful." So finally, the little girls go, "Let's dance. Let's just dance." So they put the pole on and they're going around dancing. It was the best party this village had ever had. And all it was stone soup from the
Did
king.
did they get to actually partake in the stone soup? Was it just the knights had it?
No, all of them. They
Right.
all had a party. They all
So
had
that's
a
the
big
point,
party.
is that when we decide to each share, and I'm always drawing an analogy of that we are in discovery of what our instrument is. And when we discover, we play, we perfect it, and we play it well. But when we join an orchestra and we decide in our strength to play it in harmony, we
Yeah,
transcend the sound. It's the same principle. First, what we need to do is kind of perfect our craft the best that we can, but then bring it to the collective to be a part of the whole. We've been so taught to be division, mine, you can't have, right?
exactly.
And it's like, no, we need everyone to come to the table. I was brought up with potlucks, right?
Yes.
I loved
Sunday
potlucks.
dinners.
Yeah,
Sunday.
everybody comes to the party with a part of something, and you're getting diverse and you're trying new things, and it's hearty and everybody feels good because they've contributed. And where is that today?
Well, there are places, but unfortunately, people don't know about them. For
Hmm.
example, Parul, she is from India, and she has written several books. She is a international selling author. She's been on what is that thing? That thing that everybody wants to get into. I'll come back when I remember. But anyway, she gave this speech, and one of the things that she did was she wrote a book about how to use vegetables to improve your health.
Yeah,
And that book is no more why. Oh, TED Talk. She did a
right.
TED Talk. So, and she did this all on her own.
Hmm.
She's an engineer and she has children. She travels around the world, but she still has had the time to write books in addition to publishing. She's published 15 uh, top sellers around the world. The other one that I'd like to talk about is Hasina Patel. She is in Africa, and one of the things that I admire about her is she has started several projects. I mean, these women have multi projects, and one of her projects is Leave No Girl Behind,
Hmm.
educating them, giving them a
Yes.
reason to think, empower them, because once you're educated, no one can take that away from you. And if
Well,
you
one thing,
are
girls aren't marrying for security, they can earn their own living. You're not having
exactly,
babies that are unwanted or uncared for
exactly,
because they decided on careers. And if they do choose to marry or have kids, it's then a choice and
and
not
they're
a,
happier,
tradition.
and they're happier.
Yeah, much
The
happier
one
and contribute more and very good business women.
Yes, yes. The other person that I interviewed this June was Nadine Hack, and that woman is amazing. She's promoted. I want to invite you to the Global Citizen Circle. It was founded. I'm not super sure, but I know it was either Desmond Tutu,
Hmm.
Mandela, or some of those people. Nadine, years ago, she was the first feminist. She's friends with Gloria Steinem.
Hmm.
And all since then, what she has done is talk and teach and impress and bring people in for connectivity.
Hmm.
If you're connected,
Yes.
it's better.
Yes.
One of the uh, one of the meetings we had, there were several people. One was Gloria Steinem, but there was a young girl, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but it's in the magazine. Um, she is from Africa as well, or don't quote me, maybe India. Too much on my mind right now.
Hmm.
Anyway, this young lady, again, she was at that meeting talking about empowering women. Women in other countries,
Mm.
let's put it this way, people in America and Canada and some areas in Europe have no idea what other women are going through.
Right.
I suggest that you start doing research on poverty. And it's
Hmm.
not just poverty. If you look up for Haiti, do you know what they're doing in Haiti? You have to pay for dirt so that you can put them in the sun as cookies, let them warm up, and that's what the children are eating.
Mm.
And there are
Hmm.
so many places like that. And
Yeah.
what bothers me, and this is I told you we're going to do a foundation, things like that. What I would like to do is set up great, huge gray houses or hot houses and have them taken care inside by fans and this and that and the sun. You can make it so that it opens and closes, it rains. But what I really am interested in is into making large, large, large containers with solar panels
Mm.
for air
Hmm.
conditioning and freezing.
Yeah.
Then they can go and put that food away. They're not going to run out of it.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this is very interesting. The people who are eating the best food are the poorest people because
Hmm.
they have the most pristine land. So, and talking about uh, global citizens, global citizen circle, uh, I recommend that you and all your listeners go there. It is a group of people who are fighting for justice,
Yeah.
and it could be justice about anything. And the best part of it is they have the old and the young,
Hmm.
and they interact, and so many new ideas come
Yes.
to mind, to the forefront. So that's amazing to me. That's
Through the 12 years I've been doing this, I've obviously interviewed an awful lot of diverse people, and so many of them have come through having to face a challenge or a struggle. And they've discovered their courage, their strength, their abilities, their meaningful purpose. But everybody have said no matter what the struggle is, and some of them have been horrendous, they wouldn't have given that up because of who they are today and what they have found they can do. And I think in a world where there's so much opportunity, people are believing that they can't achieve.
exactly.
And a lot of that is coming from the social media, is coming from media itself. Suppress, suppress, suppress. Because if you suppress people, you control people. But when people stand up and go, no, I'm the boss of me, I will make the choice,
I'm going to
right?
find facts, and
Exactly.
I'm going to found people like me, and I'm going to join. I tell you this a million times. Somebody should do something. I get very upset, try to be civil, and I say, you are somebody.
Yeah,
Do something.
something. Yes. And I know that, other people go and go, well, I'm only one person. How can I make a difference? There's so much. Where do I start? And I say, pick something. Pick something that means something to you and stand for it. You don't have to stand for everything. You can't. You'll burn out. You'll stress out. But pick something that is important to you and stand for that. Be an advocate. You start speaking about it. Don't preach because people
No,
get turned off by the preaching, but
exactly.
educate people by integrating it into conversation, of researching and doing more, joining people that are already doing it, right? And it's like we are the change we seek. We're the love and the peace we seek. If we want to see change out there, we can't sit on our backside waiting for everyone to do it for us. We've got
Exactly.
to proactive and do it now. Having like a Kamala Harris out there right now, you're turning the tide, because I think I'll tell you, from people I've interviewed, the depression level was way down.
Oh, the energy.
The
And
energy once she was in our whoa, stratosphere.
on her second day, she had raised $250
Yeah.
million, and that's just going up. And
Yes.
now everybody's saying she should get Pete Buttigieg as her vice president.
I agree with you. I like him. Yeah, I've liked him right from the last time. And what I like about him, he's got the ability to see strategy, to see
Hmm.
what's needed. He's a good management person. He's a good motivator. He's calm under fire. He's
Yes,
passionate without being over. So
right.
whereas Camilla is the joy and the exuberance, he's that nice anchor
Yes.
and get
And
things
he
done.
is
And I think
also,
they'll be really good together. The people are
I
talking
believe,
about the astronaut.
yes, well, I keep asking and sending tweets and all kinds of messages, and I send them to my senator and I send them to her, and I just say, look, this gentleman is a veteran.
Yes,
Okay, that's the first thing. He's seen war, he's seen battle, he
yes.
knows strategy. He
He's
has,
he's already been a mayor. He already knows how to run a town. For the
yes, a
last
second mayor.
well, how many years he's been running infrastructure, right?
He's been running infrastructure, what, 3.5 years now?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
one of the things that I like about Mayor Pete is when someone comes up to him with some kind of ridiculousness, he
Hmm.
doesn't get flustered. He
Nope.
says, let's see. And he points point by point by point. This is a fact. What you're saying isn't. This is a fact. What you're saying isn't. This is a fact. What you just said isn't. And like David Noonan or Newsom, he's from California. He's the governor. I'm not good with names when I'm speaking. When I'm writing, it flows.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
oh, you know, Spanish is my native tongue,
Mhm.
and English is my second language. So My husband, throughout all these years, has learned how to defer. Just speak English, Norma. He knows exactly what I'm saying. My best friend Brenda does too. And everybody else is like, what?
Well, people
Like,
that are bilingual will certainly understand that. But, the other thing is look at Camilla. She represents Asian, Black,
yeah,
and woman. Pete, veteran, and gay.
yeah. He has a
How many
lot of it.
boxes do we have there?
Another thing about Pete is that he knows 5 languages.
Yes,
He can go anywhere in the world
yes.
as an ambassador for the country. And wow, how would the people feel when Jackie Kennedy
Hmm.
went to France, charged, what is it, General de Gaulle, I forget it,
General de
Charles
Gaulle,
de
yes.
Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle. He just went, he was stunned and just admir,
Hmm.
just he was flabbergasted. And this woman spoke perfect
Yeah,
French. And look at what an ambassador she was.
yes. I think the two of them are the beautiful yin and yang. Like he is very down to earth. I've seen a couple of talks of him lately addressing some things that the Republican side is spewing because that's all they can do is spew,
Oh, they
regurgitate and spew. There isn't one single thing that you can latch onto. Again, make
they're
America
empty.
great again.
They're empty. They're empty souls. There's just
Oh,
nothing.
there's nothing there. Just anger. And what astonished
Evil.
me,
It's evil.
it is
It's
evil,
evil.
but and it's there was one thing that astonished me. I used to absolutely love the Daily Show. I love it with John Stewart, but I loved it with Trevor Howard. Trevor, oh come on,
I know. I know
yes,
we're
it'll
losing
come to
words
me because
today.
I'm such an admirer of his and had gone completely blank. And there was a young man that used to go
Noah.
out. Noah, thank you,
Trevor.
thank you. Great book of his life to read, by the way, Born a Crime, great one to read. But there's the other young man that goes out and interviewing what I call Trumpsters. And I kind of coined the
Mhm.
phrase that when people are doing things that just come from anger, negativity, and stupidity, I call them Trumpsters, because
Uh-huh.
that's really where it comes from. But he was interviewing someone the other day, and I don't know how it came up, but it was about Putin. Oh, yeah, yeah, we need to have a Putin here. His people are happy. The
Of
place is
course.
clean. Everybody's got work. And he said, yeah, and he throws people from the window and he poisons people that are opponent to him over, over the head, over the head. And it's like, where uh, people who have, been captured and tortured are brainwashed. These people, let's look at it, the Republican Party and the Trumpster Party it's a cult.
They're
And they
cult.
completely brainwashed the people in that cult. And the people that are so called meant to be smart, they're in it because they thought, oh, if everybody's brainwashed, we can manipulate them as we want to our own
Exactly.
agenda. They've been a bless Biden. He's done a wonderful job. He really has.
So he
And
did the
and the
great
years
thing
that
about
he's dedicated, absolutely. His courage to step down, and as he said, it's more than me, and get behind
that
Camilla
country. Hmm.
and like the whole party getting behind her. And what it is, thank you, Joe, but you can't carry this next burden. The weight is too high. Now, as you said, as Camilla says, the prosecutor against the criminal,
The
right?
felon. The felon.
If you are still on the side of Trump when you know she is going to point by point go and
She's a
hold you accountable, it's there's a lot of Republicans that are thinking twice, which, and we're not going to change the Trumpsters' minds because they'll buy
no.
any garbage. We want the people that are on the fence. Now, hey, folks, I'm Canadian. I'm still invested in what goes on in America.
Of
You're
course
our
we are
cousins over
invested.
there, right?
We're invested with the whole world. I mean, it's getting
Exactly.
smaller and smaller.
Yes.
You,
It's
one of the
it will be a total decline of America if he gets back in, but it's the hope of rising up and bringing back America to a place where people do believe dreams can come true. I did a show many years ago on immigrants um, coming into countries, bringing religion back because so many people are not going to church anymore. And a lot
Mhm.
of these people are coming from religious countries and bringing that religion back and keeping it going. So there's so many assets to having immigrants. God, let's
Well,
face it, it was built by immigrants, you know.
it's very sad to say, but we are all immigrants.
We
The
are.
real
Hmm.
people of this land are Native
Yes.
Americans.
Yes.
They have been treated like
Atrociously.
something
Yeah.
underneath your soles of your shoe.
Yeah.
It's
And
sad.
that's not soil.
No, it's one of the one of the things that is really funny. Let me give you an update. Uh, some people will not like it because it's anti-MAGA, which I say they are minions against God Almighty.
Yeah.
That's what they are. And he's the Antichrist. One, I can say it very openly because I just read uh, an article written by several priests, Catholic priests, where they show over 15 uh, chapters in the Bible, and there are more, but they just took several, saying that Trump fits every criteria to the Antichrist.
Hmm.
I have been calling him that, since
Hmm.
we've been speaking
Yeah.
forever. The other thing that I find interesting is how can people not understand if Trump becomes a dictator for one day?
Yeah.
What's going to stop him for the
Oh
rest
no,
of
no.
his life?
He's an addict, so he wants that adoration. And it's all of these people, every dictator, all of these people that are seeking that kind of power, the little boys inside that didn't get enough attention, didn't get enough love, didn't get enough support, and they're craving it. And they could own the entire world. They could
And
obliterate the entire, and it still would not be enough. The lack is within them. And the
mm-hmm.
need to have more and more and more is
and never,
substituting the lack, and it will never ever be healed because the healing comes from inside out. It is not something of manipulating and come on, Trump is not a mastermind. He's Putin has already got him on a string,
yes,
you
he's a
know.
puppet.
Hmm.
Yes. The other thing, I mean, I only need your vote once. Once, what's going to happen 4 years? We don't need
Mm,
to vote ever again. Now,
yeah.
going to his beloved, nice, popular J.D. Vance. Ugh, that man, and I don't mean to be rude, but his mother should have used contraceptive.
Well, look at how he has bought out every single woman in the world with a cat.
I
And
know.
said, this cat lady or childless cat lady is we've come out. Everything they've done right now has completely backfired.
Yes, yes.
Completely backfired. And all it's done, it's pissed people off.
Oh, yes.
But what it's done is for the people that were on the fence and so tired of this constant poop out there.
Barrage. It's a
I
barrage.
it
It,
has now saying, oh God, finally there's hope. There's
mm-hmm.
hope. There's something I can stand up for. And because what we've seen is, people standing up against Trump, but now people are standing up for someone.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's
that's
different
true.
because now you've got a barrage of wind
Well, you know
behind
what
her
else?
back.
What else is happening is a lot of Republicans are going on
Yes.
social media giving their statement that they voted for Trump, but they're never going to vote Republican again. They're going towards Kamala, and I mean the floodgates.
Yes.
This isn't,
Oh my, come on. The moment she was backed and announced, you could see them
everybody
quivering
went,
at the knees. Yeah. It was a
everybody,
bright, it was, thank God for
yes.
us and for them.
Oh God, we can talk about that off camera because I have some choice words. But listen, let's see, what else should we discuss? There are a lot of stuff that we should talk
Yeah,
about.
well, the point is how it ties into the ecology. Trumpsters do not believe in sustainability. They
Or
do
climate.
not believe in climate change. They do not believe in science. We leave our world or country, because North America too, very much a part of it. We leave it in their hands. Doomsday is coming very soon. With
Yes.
Carmela, who's got the sensibility, knows who is what, then behind it to get, you're going to see action. So that means, yes, we've got to take action. Yes, we need to mind the seeds and do the planting and have community growth places, even if you're in an apartment. They've shown how you can grow herbs and things
On
like
the
this in an
walls.
apartment. Exactly. There's so much that we can do to even help. And then you can share herb. I've got this herb, who's got this, and barter and
Mhm.
share between. But I think that's the reason, why we switched to the Paltelics, because she will bring about the sensibility around climate change and action. Because there's so
Mhm.
many other countries that are taking action. But,
Yeah.
North America is behind and it needs that kick up the butt. And I feel with her, it's there.
What
And
is really outstanding to me is how much the Republicans and their propaganda change things around and say, we are the ones for climate change. We are,
yeah.
if you read, if you read
Oh, yeah.
Project 2025,
Oh,
it is like Hitler's dream. One of the things that I've been doing, and it's starting to take off because it's not very pretty. For example, oh, we need Putin. Okay, this is Putin. Here are some of his people, and they're hungry. They
yes.
have people in the country that don't have running water.
Right.
They only get food once a month, and it's what? Potatoes?
Hmm.
Then also, let's go to Kim Jong Un.
Hmm.
Have you seen how they stack the prisoners? They brand them, and they're like 50, 60, just sitting like this. One, two. I want to put that picture up so that people can say, oh, uh-huh. And how about the other one? Chi and the one from Hungary that
Yes.
El Hombre adores. I mean, it's just anyway.
The thing is,
Get
if we
that
want to push back against those people, which, at the present moment, kind of Trump would be that permission for them to go even further. By
and they've
us
been
us stopping them is letting everybody else know in the world this kind of behavior is not accepted.
exactly.
And so, again, we've got to, we can't be on the fence.
No,
You've got to step up, because if you have children, it's their future. And I've got a daughter that never wants to have children. I have a son that's just about to get married and they may have a child. I have a daughter with two other children that, a lot of people are not, because we don't want to bring kids into this world. We don't even know if there's going
I
to be a world 20 years from now. Well, yes, okay, I hear you under the current conditions. But how about you look to what can you do in the next
exactly.
20 years to make sure there is food, that you are preparing for that Armageddon that you feel is coming, that you can weather the climate change that is naturally going through, but also stop our man interference in speeding it
Exactly.
up.
Exactly. There are so many things we can do. There is a gentleman from Canada. His name is Gerald Kutney. I got that one right. And he is he is a professor, and his area of expertise is climate change.
Mhm.
Now his group is on Twitter, and they're called Climate Brawl. You should be amazed how many people around the world post there,
Mhm.
and how he constantly puts out science and says that you're not vetted. You are not a scientist. You are not vetted. Your theory collapses. And there are a lot of followers that he has. And I love following him. I love following. There are a lot of other places to follow. All you need to do is go to your Twitter, LinkedIn, or Facebook, or whichever you're using, and just put in climate change, or just put in food production. And you will see thousands and thousands,
Yeah.
sometimes a million people just take off. I had one post about food deserts, and I got 750,000 clicks
Right.
because, and I have a gentleman right now. I can't say the countries because I've got so many people after the magazine just everybody's coming to me. But there's a gentleman, and I'm not sure if he's in Indonesia, somewhere over there. And his job is to work against food deserts. So he'll be interviewed soon. He's a
Excellent.
young man. He's a lot of the movers and shakers right now, as I
I
said
know.
before, are the people that have the wisdom and the youth that wants to do something
Yeah.
about it.
In 2018, I did this wonderful uh, series uh, it was around climate change, but it was around how mentally we change our mind. We
Mhm.
claim that change the climate in our head to bring about climate change. And most of the people I was interviewing were, Asia and Europe, a couple in America. And these are people that are profoundly making changes and bringing about that education and stepping up. And and it's a long haul. Whatever you decide to join and be a part of, understand it's a long haul. It's persistence. It's aligning with other people. Become the chorus. Don't just want to be the soloist. Become the chorus, and really don't give up and don't give in. So that's why I say choose your platform. And when you start seeing a rant and rave, then these aren't people that are a part of the climate proposal, because they will come across with and suggest a solution or suggest the fact. If you've got a rant and raver, then they're opposed to it,
They're
right?
focusing. They're
Hmm.
not focusing. They're
No.
not taking the facts. Talking about how to empower people, I have a very simple um, little rule I follow, and it's PSEFR. Plan, schedule, execute, follow up, repeat.
Yeah.
That is the basis of my success.
Yeah.
And also, when you plan, it's not just dates and things like that. It's do research.
Yes.
And research is so easy to do. I have been bedridden and I only use my iPad and my iPhone. This is the first time that I've done a video for all the years that you know.
Hmm.
And we started a little late because I had a wobble. I'm a penguin. I had a wobble. And the part that was so funny, the reason I was running late was because I couldn't find my cane. I go, Kevin, I have an emergency. Well, he's worried, oh my gosh. I can't find my cane. So we were wobbling around. He's okay. But I was like Miss Penguin. Where's my
Well, I'm glad you're here. Tell us
yeah.
about the magazine.
Well, the magazine is really interesting. Before I talk about the magazine, let me tell you how Sustainable Food for the Globe came about.
Hmm.
As you know, I was bedridden, and out of the blue, I get an invitation from Sir Richard Branson,
Hmm.
and his theme at that time was Planet A is not working. We
Hmm.
need to use a Planet B. I mean, Planet B. And so he invited all kinds of people, entrepreneurs basically, and I am an entrepreneur. So after his meeting, there were so many young people saying, "This is what I'm going to do. This is what I can do." And I was sitting in bed, and I'm not a spring chicken. I'm sitting in bed, and I'm like, I'm stuck in this bed. What can I do? The light bulb went off. I said, I can write books.
Hmm.
Excuse me a minute.
And you've written three of them.
Well, actually, I've written on my own three, but I've also contributed to another five.
Mm.
And with the digital magazine, I've done four, but I'll
Mm.
be making more now that I'm feeling better.
Right.
So the digital magazine was ironically started with Energime University, and I'm not there anymore. I mean, my thing has always been the children,
Yeah.
empower the children, give them roots, but let them run like the wind, you
Right.
know? And that's, I've always worked towards children. As you know, I have the little future pioneers that I'm always writing
Hmm.
about. So when I started Sustainable Food for the Globe, I knew I had a group of four topics. One was future pioneers, future children, young entrepreneurs with our people, 20s and so. Then I have experts, people that have done already quite a bit, like Eva Monheim, that she teaches, and she's also a professor at Longwood Gardens, which is just beautiful. It's in Pennsylvania. And then I had the great fortune to meet Nadine Hack. Uh, okay, let's start one. I don't go after people.
Hmm.
Never. I post what I post, and people, comment and say, "Can I help you with this? Can I join your group?" And I tell them, I don't mean to be obnoxious, but it's by invitation only.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a survivor of cancer. I have diabetes, kidney failure, heart conditions, among others. So I have to be very, very careful with my energy.
Hmm.
As I said, and I need to have a group that are movers and shakers,
Yes,
not uh, energy vampires, as they're called.
exactly. Exactly.
So with the magazine, what's happened is it just started growing. This last magazine, I really feel it's my, yay, I did it. Because of the people I interviewed. It was very, very serious. And they're very good people. They're movers and shakers. You see the thing is their advocacy.
Hmm.
You can see they're consistent. The
Right.
advocacy is consistent.
Yeah.
It's been throughout years. And that is the secret to being successful is consistency. If you're around a person that's constantly changing, like, oh, this works, and then 6 months later, oh no, we're doing this, and it's a different topic every time, steer clear. Steer clear because they're not focused.
Yeah.
In order to succeed, you have to say, this is my goal, and focus.
Hmm.
And the thing that's happening today is there's so much negativity
Yes.
that it's pulling people apart.
Yeah.
Like, and again, as I said, they're in a fright mode. When
Yes.
you're afraid, you're stuck.
And you don't
You're,
make good choices.
no, no. I have a saying, two of them. The truth is like a lion. All things being equal, let it free, and it will pretty much take care of itself.
Hmm.
My personal, the way that I've survived and made sure that I'm really persistent, consistent, insistent, stubborn, and relentless is what I say to myself every day. A lion is born to face death every day.
Hmm.
Fear is not an option.
Right.
I've had my whole life. And when I come across people who are really despondent, and I try to, help out and motivate them, and they keep falling into despondency. And they say, how can you be this way? How can you be this way? Well, first, I believe in God,
Hmm.
who's guided my whole life and protected me. Second, I'm a US Navy veteran, where you learn to focus as a team to bring your uh, project. And if someone in the team, especially in the Navy, if someone in the team is not part, not 100% part of the team, they're putting the rest of us in danger.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to be one unit, one orchestra, nobody going off as a soloist. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then the other thing is I graduated from University of Illinois with Phi Kappa Phi, which I told you is the
Hmm.
oldest and most prestigious honor society. And this is what's funny. I don't take myself very seriously, really. I just, I'll be talking to someone high up, and Kevin will say, who are you talking on the phone with? I said, oh, so and so from University such and such. I'm just hung up. He goes, it sounded like you were going to have French fries at McDonald's. Like, that's the way it is.
Yes, I agree. You don't. If we speak to each other, I mean, we can respect their achievement. We can respect, you know, um, what they've done and who they are. But if we don't treat them as human to human, heart to heart, then what we're doing, we're adoring and we're putting them at a position that makes them feel uncomfortable. Unless they're
yeah,
an egomaniac, then that's different. But most people that are
true.
humble, that are truly in it for the right reason, they just want to know you care and there's something to talk about and we can do this together. And they don't
They
want to
get
be hung
very
up with the big,
embarrassed.
big, yeah, yeah,
They get very embarrassed
yes,
when they they don't promote themselves or the
yeah,
allocates or whatever.
yeah,
They show what they've accomplished, and that's their body of work, and that's what they
yeah.
show. Um, Myself, as you know, I'm extremely private.
Hmm.
I'm a recluse, but I communicate with over 5,000 contacts and friends, you know, 100 or 200 on a daily basis. And all the others, they're telling me what they're accomplishing.
Mm,
I when I first started using social media, I was rather naive and I thought, oh, everybody's going to be fine, this and that. One day I was talking to one of my doctors and Jennifer, she said, remember, these people are hanging onto your coattails. Let them go.
hmm.
And that was hard. That was hard because, oh, all these people. So I took her advice and thought about it. And I said, this isn't right. I don't have that much energy. I
Exactly.
cannot go into rabbit holes or
No.
whatever. So now, when I deal with people who I've dealt for a long time, like you and other people, uh, the first thing that I ask myself, do they share the same
Yeah.
advocacy?
Yeah.
And I research them. I research their work. I research the organizations they belong to. I try to look at videos of what they do. And it's not just a one thing, follow them for a year or so, and then you make your decision.
Yeah.
Because by then you know them well enough that you see they're consistent. And
Yes,
that's the most
I get people saying, who do you interview? And I said, the moment you start saying six figures, rah, 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 not for me. Who do I interview? People who come from the heart. People that are truly believe in their message. They really want to make a difference in someone's life. And no matter what they're doing, because we have 19 different genres. It doesn't matter in what way they're doing it, but they're doing it because they want to have an impact on someone's life to pivot it in the right direction, to help people. If you're not coming from there, I'm not interested. I've slowed down because I've been doing this 12 years and now I've got grandchildren I also have to help looking after. But I'm getting older too. I'm turning 70 soon. And I realized I was giving too much energy away. And I'd
yes.
rather give it to people that I really know have stepped up, have stepped up. They're on that path because they really want to make a difference. Because those are the people I want to get behind, and those are the people I want my audience to trust in.
There's a thing about people who are very focused on their advocacy. They're uncorruptible.
Yeah.
Look at
Yeah.
Biden.
Yes.
They're
Exactly.
uncorruptible. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter how much dirt or whatever. There's a song, I don't know if you've ever heard it, The Joke.
I don't
There,
know. Don't.
it's a very, very powerful song. This child is being bullied, and some other people are being put down because of where they come from. And at the end, it says, let them laugh, let them spin, let them throw in the wind. I've been to the movies, I've seen how it ends, the jokes on them.
Yeah. Very, very true.
Mhm.
I think
So
the greatest advocacy you can have for anything is being true to who you are,
exactly.
the essence of who you are, and are you, again, from your very heart and soul, putting your best foot forward for the greater good, because you want to, because you care. And again, it doesn't matter what you're doing. The triangulist has just as an important role in the orchestra as a soloist. Soloist has more responsibility, more onus on them. It's not measuring and comparing and competing against each other. It's stepping up with what you've got and bringing
Competing
it
with
to the table.
yourself.
Yeah,
Competing with yourself.
yeah.
You remember Julia Skolinsky?
Yes,
She passed away
yes,
last
sad to hear.
year. One of the things about Julia, a beautiful, beautiful soul, she always had time to give
Hmm.
advice, and it wasn't phony. I mean, she would
Right.
listen to your situation and take her gems and give you information. And one of the things that struck me the most is always keep your word,
Hmm.
which that's okay. But the one that got to me, she said, work for the better good of all.
Yeah,
When she said that to me, that's when everything fell into place. That was when I was able to say, okay, this person is interesting. I'm going to put them on the list number two because they look like they're going to make something about them.
yeah,
But then list number one are people with the same advocacy. And when you contact people, like I contacted you through Messenger.
Hmm.
We ask questions and we give each other advice and pep talks and, moments that you're really confused or really don't know what to do. And you speak to other people, they give you advice, and some of it is really, really good. Some of it is something that doesn't fit in.
Hmm.
But again, it's the community. And
Yes.
it's, you know,
Well, it's again like at a pot, like at a party. You're not going to eat everything, right? You're going to go for the things that, and you may try a new dish. But I interviewed Julia back in 2016. Of course, her show is still very impactful for the wisdom that she shared. So, we've lost a good soul there, but she's left behind,
mhm,
the legacy and the material that will keep on giving, and that's the point of it. Um, we are, again, as I said, the change and the difference that we seek out there. What we're looking at right now of the changing of the tide is that we've got somebody we feel we can get behind. We've got
yes.
somebody that isn't just representing America. See, she's representing women everywhere in the world. She's
Hmm.
representing hope for change. She's rep
Yes.
she's, always say inspiration begets invitation. And in that
Yes.
inspiration, it has invited us to stand up and be accountable. Now, again, be accountable within the parameter of your energy and what you can give. Don't feel you need to measure because Susie over there is giving that. George over
No,
there is giving that. Give what you can give. But even if you give an ounce, or everybody gives a drop in the bucket, that bucket is soon going to be full. It's about what can you do. This is my platform through podcasting. I can't do anything physical, I can't do anything financial, but this is my platform for the last 12 years of bringing the people that are making the change, that are showing you how, that are supporting people on their journey of self discovery, that are, how do we tap into the wisdom? This is what I do. We need to find what it is in each of us, what we can do. The sustainability isn't just about food.
no, it's not.
Sustainability about housing, about life itself, not just for us human beings. The moment we start realizing and accepting the fact that there are more species in the world than us, and
And
that
they know
we've got to work together,
we
and
do.
they're smarter than us, right? And also, and I've been saying it for years, Mama Earth is going to evict us well and truly if we don't get our act together.
Well, you've heard me say this before. We need Mother Earth.
Yes,
Mother Earth does not need us.
doesn't need
And,
us. In
and
fact,
the
she'd be
other
quite
one,
happy to get rid of us, and so will most of the animal and other kingdom in the world, most certainly. We are the disruptors. We're the scum of the earth, but we can also be the cream. Again, it comes down to choice. What are you going to feed? Because what you feed will grow. In fact, actually, my speech around my son's wedding, because he gets married in a week, and I've been asked to do a speech as mother of the groom, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I'm actually drawing the analogy of a well-kept garden.
wonder,
Plant things that will grow over time and flourish. Make sure to pick the weeds and don't let them take over. Plant the seasonal things that you will enjoy in the season, but remember, you've got to plant again for the next season. And I
mhm,
think that if we actually do look at nature and the seasons of nature and follow that template, what do I do? How do I do it? Follow the template of nature. All right.
mhm.
And start taking responsibility and onus for our own contribution. Maybe you can't plant a garden or you're not in an arena that you can share in a community. What can you do? I'm 80% vegan. My one daughter and husband are complete vegan. Plant-based food, saving the animals, but also when you look at how they manufacture animals today,
Oh,
and they're
it's
manufacturing,
so,
no humanity better.
oh,
The amount of methane gas, the amount of water, and just the sheer terror of those animals. You're eating that terror.
exactly. And that stays in you.
Mm,
That stays in you. It's
yeah.
horrible.
So, I
You
mean,
know,
there's so much we can do. Um, when is this magazine going to be coming out, and how will people find the magazine?
well, I'll put a link onto your
Yes.
to
And of
your
course, I'll add it to your show page as well.
thank you. Well, at this point in time, what's coming down the pipe is I'll be doing a special interview of Gerald Kutney.
Mhm.
This man is a mover and shaker. He is in the world number 3 expert of climate change and
Mhm.
has written a book, which I'm trying to read, but it's like 300 pages. So I told him, I'll interview you when I finish reading this book. And that's like 3 pages a day. So that's coming up. And for the next issue will be, they always come around Earth Day.
Hmm.
I would like to write more, but I can't. I
Yeah.
just don't have the wherewithal in my energy bucket. But next issue, cross your fingers and toes. It will be around April 22nd, which is Earth Day. I will be interviewing the young man I told you about, restoring deserts, food
Hmm.
deserts. Of course, Saki, who's from Pakistan, he's the one that's been uh, doing the children growing up and how things are going. He has
Hmm.
a farm and all that. Now, the expert, I haven't, it probably is a young lady. Her last name is Jules. She is from Denmark, and she got the whole country to stop wasting food. She
Right.
has been, she has been, she has been just fantastic. And
Hmm.
if I'm super, super, super lucky, the the influencer will be Al Gore.
Yeah. Ah, okay. I'm on the fence with Al Gore, actually. Um,
I'm not talking about his politics or anything. What I want to talk about is what he knows about climate change. He wrote a book. He had a movie called An Inconvenient Truth. And
yes,
this came out
years ago.
years ago. He also has, hold on, the other book that's back there is Our Choice.
Hmm.
And it's the choice we make. Do we go forward
Hmm.
and keep our life?
Well, if we don't, it's
We're
goodbye to
done.
the human race. So,
And
there's
all,
only one thing we can do is go forward with an open mind, right? And open hands and ask, what can I do?
I have also a couple of books coming out. Uh, One of them is a personal. It's an autobiography, a
Mm.
memoir, and it's titled "Serial Killer." There before the grace of God go I.
Oh, wow.
The reason for that is my childhood was very violent.
Hmm.
It was really ironic. Both my parents were doctors. My mom was a cardiovascular specialist. You tell I'm getting tired. And my father was industrial medicine. So we were uppy there.
Hmm.
We were brought up. But in the house, they were really monsters.
Hmm.
My mother practiced witchcraft,
Hmm.
black witchcraft. And being in the Caribbean, believe me.
Yeah.
And my father raped my sister,
Hmm.
among other beatings and things like that. So when I was old enough, I ran away from home. And finally, when I turned 18, 10 days after 18, I joined the Navy. And that was the best thing I've ever done. Because there is a book called Toxic Parents. And in one of the stories, it states a young little duck, and he kept getting sick. So he decided he was going to fly away and find another place to live. Well, all the ducks in that community were just like, you don't know what you're doing, you're crazy. Blah,
Hmm.
blah. Years later, the rest of the ducks come into the pond and they tell the little one, we're sorry, we didn't believe you. That water was toxic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened while I was in the Navy, me too, I was raped. I do not remember anything about it,
Mm.
but I know my husband does, and we're getting a lawsuit for
Hmm.
that. And yet, after all those things, like you, Julia, say, "Oh, you've gone through so much." You know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The pain. I have had a philosophy for many, many years that people who do great things comes from their pain.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. 100%.
Be-
You discover your courage, your strength, your abilities, your why, your because, and we wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't come from the suffering. And,
right.
it is that propulsion forward. Not that everybody has to go through extreme suffering, but it's embrace your challenges. They're not out there to get you. They're out there to show you who you really are.
exactly, to learn.
Mm.
And one of the things that I believe people who have gone through trauma and have been able to come across to the light, uh, they don't want other people to hurt. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
when you see something because of your past and you see something, there's something wrong there. I need to find out. I need to help because children, they believe that that's the way everyone else lives. They
This year,
believe,
I produced a book called Our Forgotten Children. And
yes, I
this
know.
is 15 chapters in here of people contributing about the systems that are wrong, that are not supporting our children. This is book one of the volume. I will have another one out next year. The conversation has to keep on going. The
You
systems
said
that we have right now are so against our children, so against them. And this is why we have dysfunctional young adults that commit crimes, that are addictive, that, that are just absent of connection in any way is because we're not supporting our children. So I'm a
that's
huge
right.
advocate on we support our children and the families that they're born into, and we'll see a more enriched society.
And not just the families, but the
Yeah.
friends of the
Yes.
parents
The
and the
society itself, the
yes,
community. Yes.
yes, the
Yes.
village
Yeah.
takes the village.
It does. It does. Well, my
So
dear, I have to have you back when you are going to do, when your book comes out. Do you know when that's going to be?
next year, next year.
Okay.
But I do want you to know, and this is a big, big plan, we're going to start a foundation
Oh, great.
to work on one, rescuing wasted food, stopping food deserts, and of course, securing food production for
Good.
as many people on this planet.
Excellent. And I think
So
you'll get a lot of people behind that because it's about time these billionaires really put the money, really seeded the opportunities, right? And
let
it's
me
not
tell
by the
you something.
politicians. We need them to seed the people with the vision and the
Let me tell you
opportunity.
something before we go.
Yeah,
Are you aware that billionaires are building underground cities?
because they know Armageddon's coming because they're causing it, right?
The
These movies we watch aren't so far-fetched.
Zuckerberg
Uh-huh.
bought acres and acres and acres in Hawaii, and he has built a city down there. It has everything: golf course, swimming. I mean, a mini planet right down there. And he's not the only one.
Ah, but there's a show on Netflix. Oh, what's it called? Damn, I've just finished watching it, but it is about that. It was based in the 50s, and these people that built these underground pods, and they were going to be able to sustain themselves for a couple of 100 years until they could come back out to the surface. All right. But everything kind of stays in the 50s as far as development, as far as attitudes, as far as everything. And when a few of these people come out and see what's out there, what is it called? If anybody is listening to this and they know what it is, please
Time
put it in the
travel
comments.
headache.
It's
It's a time travel headache.
I've just finished watching it, and of course the name's going to come when we go off air, but it is exactly that. We blow everything up with atomic bombs, no world there, and then we have this fake facade, delusional world underneath, and they think they're going to come back up and then take ownership of the world afterwards. Well, think again, mate. Right? So,
You know what? Men make plans and
God
God laughs.
loves. It
I
certainly
really
does.
like to be a fly on the wall and say, okay, I'm going to study this and analyze it. That can break, there goes your oxygen.
Yeah.
That can break, there goes your water. This
Right.
doesn't work because the lights aren't working, there goes your food. I mean, there's
Yeah.
so many things. And if anything can go wrong, it will.
It will.
But if anything, if you plant something, it'll bloom.
I do not believe in hopelessness. I've dealt with enough depression and despair in my life personally that I do not want to feed any of those seeds. And I believe that anything can be turned around when we change the tone, we change the music, we change the perspective, we change the enthusiasm, and we come together. We are the solution we seek. We've just got to get off our asses and do something about it and stop saying, well, it's them, it's them, it's them. No, it's you, it's you, it's you.
Do you know, talking about that, I think I mentioned I get very uncivil. I lose my calm when people have pity parties
Mm-hmm.
and they just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm really opening up to you because I'm finally coming back. I suffered from tremendous depression my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Starting at the age of 12, I
Mm-hmm.
tried to commit suicide all those years. And even when I was in Spain, what stopped was when I met my husband and he mirrored me and he said, you are, you know, you're wonderful. And at that time, if I closed my eyes, I couldn't see
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
And the suicide, what a lot of people should respect is that people committing suicide are not trying to kill themselves. That's not the issue at
I've
all.
been saying
It's
that
the
for
pain. It
the
is the
despair, the
it is
despair. Yeah,
horrible. It is
yes,
horrible. But my husband and some really good friends provided a scaffolding for me to cross that abyss
yeah.
because it just gets to the point where you just feel you're nothing.
There is no rhyme, reason, logic, or rationale around it. Nothing. It is just the feeling where somebody's come in and torn out your heart and your guts. I've said for forever, if you interviewed 98% of the people that committed suicide, they would all say, I didn't mean to die. I just couldn't
Right.
take the pain anymore. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. So what else should we talk about before we say
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to close off this interview today, but I want you back when the magazine's going to come out and when your book is going to come out. And I want very much to get behind supporting that. So for Earth Day, we have to have you back. And I don't know
of
when
course
your book is going to be ready, whenever that is. I want to have that back as well when we talk about
that
your
one
own
will be
personal story. That's
serial
good.
killer.
Yes, I know that
There
is quite a title. That's going to draw quite a number of
before the
people to
grace
it.
of God go I.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
going to
crazy.
be a big one. So when that comes out, I want you back to share love because you still got so much to give. But I am out of time today. But can you tell people how they can look at the any of the backlogs of your of your magazines, where they can buy the books and where they can find you?
Well, right now, the best thing I can say is contact me via email, norma.burnson@gmail.com, and I will provide you with all the links because I'm in the middle of updating the website and all those things. And I need to double check all the links and things like that. So if they contact me, feel free to send me an email. No nasties, just nice stuff.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
tell me what are you interested in, what is your advocacy, and I will hopefully have a conversation one way or another, phone or email, whatever,
Right.
and we can connect and see what your advocacy is. What are you going to be focusing on? And then I can say, well, look, I have this, but this other person
Hmm.
is that. So one of my
Exactly.
strengths really is I'm a networker. I
Hmm.
always see, oh, there's someone shining. They can meet with this other person who has done it their whole life. So that's my.
Right.
Well, you
They
remember
can also find you on LinkedIn as well, Norma Burnson. And Burnson is Burnson, Norma,
right.
Norma. So Norma Burnson on LinkedIn. You could start a conversation there as
All you
well.
need to do is Google me.
Yes. And
Google, just
mhm,
my name, and everything will show up. But again, people should know that due to the fact that I'm just starting to get back up
mhm.
to energies, a lot of the stuff that you'll look at, I say, was that in 1450?
And of course, your books can be bought from Amazon. They just put in your
Absolutely.
name and highly recommend getting those books. They're things that you could dedicate, donate to the school, donate to the library, making sure that people are talking about it because we have to have sustainable food. We've got to stop putting our future in the hands of other people. We've got to start looking as a collective of people and going, how can we come together to support each other?
Before you go, you know what my motto is. Together we can keep Mother Earth vibrant and alive.
Exactly. And my motto is listen, learn, and apply.
Good for you. It was
Thanks, Norma,
lovely.
for it's been a while. We've been trying to get this back up, back, having you back on here, but definitely for Earth Day, want to get you back for the magazine. And whenever the book is ready, your personal book is ready, let's have you back for that as well. We can talk about that. I always say the best teachers and the best inspirers are those that have gone through it. They understand, they're relatable. They've found the skills and the tools that they could share with other people because there isn't one person on this earth that hasn't gone through something. But when you
Yes.
know some people have gone through it and this is how they came through it, this is who they are today because of it, it becomes that invitation to other people that yes, you can.
Thank you so much. It was an honor speaking with you and sharing stories together.
It's
Um,
always a delight to have you, always. And so I'm looking forward to the next two. Definitely
okay.
Live Day, and whenever the book is ready to come out, and we will do that one as well, and most certainly. And folks, you know what my podcast theory is: gather people together, listen to the podcast, and have a podcast party. Or if you've already listened to this, suggest a few other friends listen to it. Get together over a glass of wine. And share what each of you got out of it. This is how you expand the knowledge and expand the perspective and how you come out with a fuller feast because of it. So don't just keep it to yourself, share it around, start the conversation. It's only through the conversation we're going to take action. So thank you so much, Norma. And until next time, folks, bye for now.
Bye.
We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.